You are not weak. You are negotiated. Every morning your mind opens a marketplace. It bargains for 5 more minutes. It negotiates comfort over growth. It whispers that today is not the right day to confront the hard task, the difficult conversation, the uncomfortable truth. And every night, when the consequences return, it drafts excuses to protect your identity. You do not fail because you lack intelligence or ambition. You fail because you allow internal deals to go unchallenged. So you call it stress. You call it being busy. You call it waiting for the right moment. But beneath the language is a quieter reality. You are governed by impulse. Your brain is wired to conserve energy, avoid pain, protect status. It will always choose the familiar over the necessary. Without structure, you will obey it. There is a system that ends negotiation, not motivation, not temporary discipline. A system, or an ancient Japanese system built on Seijaku, disciplined inner stillness cultivated in chaos, not calm as personality, calm as trained command. Seijaku was refined in Zen monasteries where silence was not escape but sharpening. Warriors practiced it before battle. Calligraphers practiced it before ink touched paper. Leaders practiced it before speaking. Seijaku does not remove noise. It trains you to stand inside it without moving. When you stop reacting, you begin directing. When you stop bargaining, you begin commanding. Your breath slows, your decisions sharpen, your presence shifts. And the world, which once overwhelmed you, begins responding differently. But there is a catch. This system will not upgrade your current identity. It will dismantle it. The version of you that scrolls, delays, softens language, hides behind exhaustion. That version cannot survive Seijaku. Your ego will resist. Your social circle may question you. Your habits will revolt. Seijaku demands identity death before authority. You can continue negotiating with yourself, or you can step into a system that removes negotiation entirely. But once you step in, you do not return unchanged. Before this story begins, understand this is not passive viewing. If you are going to witness transformation, you must mark your position. Subscribe to this channel. Like this video. Then write this exact declaration in the comments. I end negotiation with myself today. Do not modify it, and do not soften it. Write it exactly. This is not motivation. It is commitment under observation. When you declare it publicly, you create friction. You create accountability. You signal to yourself that you are no longer experimenting with change. You are entering a system. If you remain silent, nothing changes. Silence protects the old identity. If you write the declaration, you step into pressure. And pressure is where transformation begins. Kenji Sato is 34 years old. He works at a mid-level logistics firm in Osaka. He wears the same gray suit rotation, boards the same train at 7:12 every morning, stands in the same corner of the carriage. Married. 1 daughter. Mortgage payments. Predictable routine. From the outside, nothing is collapsing. But erosion does not announce itself. At night, after dinner, he sits on the edge of his bed with his phone glowing against his face. He scrolls through news, short videos, productivity advice he never applies. He tells himself tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow he will wake earlier. Tomorrow he will speak with confidence in meetings. Tomorrow he will begin exercising again. Morning arrives. The alarm sounds. His hand reaches out and negotiates. 5 more minutes, then 10. By noon, the promise has dissolved. You know this pattern. The mind bargains. The body obeys comfort. At work, Kenji avoids the conversations that matter. When a junior employee underperforms, he delays addressing it. Which when a superior hints at leadership opportunities, he nods but does not volunteer. He tells himself he is strategic. In truth, he is afraid of discomfort. Fear does not look dramatic. It looks like delay. At home, his daughter runs to him with drawings from school. He smiles, distracted, already thinking about the unfinished report. His wife asks if he is okay. Just busy, he says. Busy is the socially acceptable word for internally unstable. Inside, he feels smaller each month, not because something catastrophic happened, because nothing happened. No risk taken, no confrontation faced, no deliberate growth chosen. The days blend, the years compress. He begins to sense a quiet verdict forming. This is who you are. A man who intended more. A man who executed less. The most dangerous decline is invisible. No one stages an intervention for slow self-betrayal. There is no dramatic fall. Only micro-surrenders stacked quietly over time. And Kenji does not yet understand that erosion, left unchecked, always leads to exposure. The breaking moment does not arrive with thunder. It arrives under fluorescent office lights. Kenji stands at the front of a conference room, laptop connected to the projector, hands slightly damp against the remote. 10 colleagues sit around the table. His supervisor stands near the back wall, arms folded. The presentation is routine. Quarterly logistics projections, minor adjustments, or predictable numbers. He has rehearsed the slides in his mind, not out loud, never out loud. He begins speaking. The first minute passes smoothly. His voice is steady, though slightly thin. He clicks to the next slide. A graph appears, complex, layered, requiring explanation. His eyes scan the numbers. For a split second, his mind blanks. You know that sensation. The sudden vacuum where language should be. His heart accelerates. Heat rises up his neck. He searches for the next sentence. Nothing arrives. Silence stretches. Someone clears their throat. A pen taps lightly against the table. The supervisor steps forward. Let me clarify this section, he says calmly, taking control of the narrative without looking at Kenji. The room shifts allegiance instantly. Laughter is subtle, not cruel, but lethal. A brief smile exchanged between 2 co-workers. A glance, a smirk suppressed. It is not mockery, it is worse. It is dismissal. Status threat activates in the brain like an alarm. The studies from social neuroscience show that public embarrassment triggers the same pain pathways as physical injury. The amygdala floods the body with stress chemicals. Fight or flight engages. Except there is nowhere to run. Kenji nods as if this was planned. He steps aside. His supervisor continues. The meeting ends. No one addresses what happened, but something inside him fractures. On the train ride home, he replays the silence repeatedly. The blank slide, the supervisor's voice, and the room's subtle shift. That night, his daughter sits beside him at the dinner table, swinging her legs under the chair. "Papa, why do you look sad?" He forces a small smile. "Just tired." But you know the truth when you look in the mirror after humiliation. It is not fatigue. It is exposure. He has seen his own instability under pressure. He realizes something brutal. He cannot control his mind when it matters. He has intelligence. He has experience. But when stress rises, but his internal system collapses, and if the mind cannot hold under mild pressure in a conference room, how will it hold when stakes are real? Humiliation alone does not produce discipline. It produces shame. Shame whispers, avoid the situation next time. Speak less. Stay smaller. Do not risk exposure again. Without structure, shame becomes paralysis. Kenji begins to withdraw slightly at work. He volunteers less. He prepares more, yet trusts himself less. He becomes hyper-aware of how he is perceived. Every glance feels loaded. Every pause feels dangerous. You have felt this. The quiet contraction after public failure. The instinct to protect ego by reducing risk. But contraction is not recovery. It is surrender disguised as caution. In the weeks that follow, he moves carefully, almost invisibly. He tells himself he just needs confidence. He watches motivational videos late at night. He reads articles about public speaking. He experiments with breathing techniques for a few days, then abandons them. Nothing changes. Because the problem was not presentation skill. The problem was negotiation. Under pressure, his mind negotiated with fear. It surrendered authority. It allowed chaos to direct behavior. He does not yet have language for this. He only has a sensation. Something inside him is unreliable. And when a man can no longer trust his own mind under scrutiny, the search for structure begins. The weeks pass before Kenji encounters the interruption he did not know he was seeking. It happens on a Sunday morning, not in a temple, not in a dramatic setting, but in a small cultural center tucked between narrow streets in Osaka. His daughter has enrolled in a beginner calligraphy workshop. Kenji accompanies her, standing near the back wall while children kneel on tatami mats, brushes trembling above white paper. At the front of the room stands Nakamura Sensei, late 70s, straight posture, the movements economical, his hair silver, tied loosely behind his head. When he lifts the brush, the room falls silent without command. Kenji watches the ink touch paper. The line is deliberate, no hesitation, no correction. One motion, complete. After the class, while his daughter runs ahead, Kenji lingers. He studies a sheet of practice strokes pinned to the wall. They look simple. They are not. You hesitate, the old man says without turning. Kenji stiffens. "Oh, excuse me?" Nakamura Sensei turns slowly, eyes sharp but not unkind. "Your breathing is shallow, your shoulders tight. You are fighting something invisible." Kenji almost laughs. "It's just work." The master shakes his head once. "Calm is not personality," he says. "It is trained." The words land heavier than expected. Nakamura Sensei explains Seijaku, a Japanese principle older than most corporate structures Kenji fears. Inner stillness cultivated through deliberate confrontation with noise. A practiced in Zen monasteries since the 1200s, not for peace, for precision. Monks used it before copying sacred texts. Samurai used it before battle. Calligraphers use it before ink. Stillness is not absence of sound, the master continues. It is absence of reaction. Kenji thinks of the conference room, the blank slide, the surge of panic. He feels exposed again. "I lose control under pressure," he admits quietly. "You never had control," Nakamura Sensei replies. "You had conditions. And when conditions changed, you collapsed." There is no comfort in his tone, only assessment. Kenji expects advice about breathing or posture. Instead, the master offers something else. Return tomorrow, he says, before sunrise. For what? To begin. Kenji nods, unsure why. The next morning he arrives at the cultural center at 5:30 a.m. The streets are empty. The room is dim. Nakamura-sensei is already seated on the tatami. No phone, the master says. Sit. Kenji lowers himself awkwardly, and his legs protest. His mind begins listing tasks for the day. Observe, the master instructs. Do not adjust. Minutes stretch. His thoughts multiply. Itches appear. Impulses rise. This is not what he expected. After 20 minutes, the master speaks again. You believe you are thinking. You are reacting. Seijaku begins when you see the impulse before obeying it. It feels insultingly small. Sit. Observe. Do nothing. Kenji wants complexity. He wants a dramatic technique. Instead, he is handed stillness. And stillness reveals noise he has been avoiding for years. He does not yet understand that this simple ritual is the first fracture in his old identity. Day 1 to 3. The alarm rings at 5 a.m. Kenji's hand moves toward the snooze button, then stops mid-air. He remembers Nakamura-sensei's eyes. Observe. Do not adjust. The impulse to negotiate is immediate and loud. 5 more minutes. The room is cold. The bed is warm. You know this voice. It sounds reasonable, but he sits up anyway. 30 minutes. No phone, no music, no guidance, just breath and the raw noise of his own mind. His legs ache. His thoughts scatter. He imagines emails, unfinished reports, possible embarrassments. Every few seconds, his mind attempts to escape. Seijaku is not comfortable. It is confrontation. By the third morning, something subtle shifts. He notices the impulse before acting on it. The urge to check his phone still appears, but there is a fraction of space before movement. In that space, choice exists. Week 2 begins. Nakamura-sensei introduces the Japanese method of controlled discomfort. You have lived by avoidance, he says. Now you will train by contact. Cold water at the end of each shower, not extreme, just enough to shock the body into alertness. Difficult conversations scheduled instead of postponed. Deep work blocks carved into his calendar with no interruptions allowed. Reduce trivial decisions, the master instructs. Take clothes prepared the night before, meals simplified, protect your will. A brief mention from behavioral science surfaces in Kenji's mind. Decision fatigue drains self-control. A Stanford study suggested that identity shifts when repeated action occurs under stress. The master does not explain research. He enforces routine. Day 7. Kenji initiates a conversation with a junior employee about performance issues. His voice wavers slightly, but he does not withdraw. He feels the discomfort, or he stays with it, finishes the conversation without apology. Day 10. He speaks up once in a meeting. Not dramatically, simply clearly. Each act is small. Each act is friction. He begins to believe progress is inevitable. The morning silence feels less chaotic. The cold water feels shorter. He senses control returning. But discipline exposes what comfort hides. In the quiet of early mornings, darker thoughts surface. Resentment toward co-workers, fear of mediocrity, on anger at himself for years of passivity. The noise intensifies before it stabilizes. Seijaku does not suppress chaos, it reveals it. On day 13, he feels sharp, focused, almost proud. The system appears to be working. And that is precisely when the old identity prepares its counterattack. Day 1. The alarm rings at 5 a.m. Kenji's hand moves automatically toward the snooze button. You know that movement. It is not conscious, it is negotiated reflex. But before his finger touches the screen, he hears Nakamura-sensei's voice in memory. Observe. Do not adjust. He sits up. Day 1 to day 3, 30 minutes earlier than usual. No phone, no music, no productivity podcasts to disguise avoidance as growth. He sits on the tatami in the small room of his apartment while the city remains dark. His daughter sleeps. His wife turns in bed. His knees ache. His mind riots. You think stillness is passive. It is not. It is confrontation without movement. Thoughts surface aggressively. You are wasting time. You need more sleep. This will not fix your presentation failure. His body demands stimulation. His mind constructs escape routes. But he does not move. This is the first law of the Japanese method. Impulse does not equal command. Week 2 begins. Nakamura-sensei adds layers. Controlled discomfort, he says. Not chaos. Deliberate. Cold water at the end of every shower. 30 seconds, then 60, then 2 minutes. The body resists violently at first. Breath shortens, but shoulders tense. But Kenji remains. He counts slowly. He watches the urge to flee rise and fall. At work, he chooses one difficult conversation each week and schedules it intentionally. No delay, no over-preparation, direct, concise speech. His voice trembles the first time. It steadies by the third sentence. The Japanese technique does not remove fear. It reduces negotiation. He restructures his work blocks. 90 minutes of deep focus. No switching tabs. No checking messages. He eliminates trivial decisions from his mornings. Same breakfast, same clothing rotation, same route. By reducing small choices, mental energy strengthens. Decision fatigue decreases. Studies from Stanford have shown that repeated action under stress reshapes identity faster than affirmation ever could. He begins to feel progress. But discipline is exposure. In the silence of early mornings, darker thoughts surface. Resentment toward coworkers, regret about wasted years, unquiet envy of more assertive men. Seijaku does not silence these. It amplifies awareness of them. You cannot command what you refuse to see. By day 10, his posture shifts slightly. His breathing deepens in meetings. He pauses before responding instead of rushing to fill silence. Colleagues notice something subtle. They cannot name it. They simply interrupt him less. He believes he is stabilizing. But the system is not testing his strength yet. It is testing his consistency. And consistency always meets resistance at the exact moment confidence begins to grow. Day 14. The alarm rings. Kenji does not sit up. His hand moves without pause this time. Snooze. 10 minutes, then another 10. When he finally opens his eyes, the light in the room is no longer blue with dawn. It is ordinary morning. The window has already shifted from discipline to routine. You know this moment. The instant you realize you have broken the chain. He lies still for a few seconds. We're staring at the ceiling. The mind begins its defense. You were tired. 2 weeks is already progress. 1 day does not matter. This is how erosion resumes. He reaches for his phone. 30 minutes disappear in a blur of headlines and short videos. The silence ritual is skipped. The cold shower is shortened. The difficult email he planned to send is postponed. At work, the old patterns slide back into place with frightening ease. He avoids eye contact in a meeting. He allows a minor mistake to pass without correction. He laughs lightly at a joke he does not find funny, just to maintain social ease. The previous 13 days feel distant, almost imagined. Relapse does not feel dramatic. It feels familiar. By afternoon, a quiet shame returns. Not the explosive humiliation of the presentation, but a dull internal accusation. You are still the same. This is the emotional danger. Not failure, abandonment. After work, instead of going straight home, Kenji walks towards the cultural center. The sky is gray. His steps are slower than usual. He expects reprimand. He expects disappointment in Nakamura-sensei's eyes. The master is already seated when Kenji enters. "I failed," Kenji says without greeting. Nakamura-sensei studies him for a long moment. "No," he replies. "You returned." Silence fills the room. The master introduces another Japanese philosophy. Gaman. Endure the unbearable without complaint, not dramatic endurance, a quiet continuation. "You believe discipline is perfection," the master says. "It is return." Kenji lowers his gaze. It felt effortless to fall back. "Yes," Nakamura-sensei says. "Your old identity is practiced. Your new one is not." There is no anger in his voice, only law. Failure is not the enemy. Abandonment is. The ancient Japanese system does not punish relapse. It demands re-entry. The moment you fall is the moment you recommit. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Immediately. Kenji kneels, and he sits. He breathes. The noise is louder than it was on day one. Shame tries to speak. Doubt tries to negotiate. But he does not move. In that return, something reframes. Perfection is fragile. Continuity is power. Day 14 does not erase the previous 13 days. It exposes the depth of conditioning. It reveals how quickly the old self reclaims territory. You cannot defeat what you pretend no longer exists. Kenji leaves that evening without triumph, without relief, and only with clarity. This is not a 2-week experiment. It is identity reconstruction, and reconstruction requires endurance beyond pride. Day 30 arrives quietly. There is no ceremony, no announcement. Kenji wakes before the alarm now, not because he feels inspired, but because the body has adapted. The ritual has moved from resistance to structure. You would call this discipline. Neuroscience calls it conditioning. Repeated exposure to controlled stress reduces amygdala reactivity. The alarm no longer triggers negotiation. The cold water no longer feels like shock. It feels like signal. Silence no longer feels like emptiness. It feels like ground. Seijaku is beginning to condition the nervous system. On the train, Kenji stands differently. Shoulders relaxed, breath deeper. He does not scroll. He watches the reflection of his own face in the dark window. Not critically, observationally. At work, the shift becomes visible. During a meeting, a colleague challenges his numbers. A month ago, his pulse would have spiked instantly. Now he feels the surge and stays with it. He inhales slowly. He pauses for 2 full seconds before speaking. "Let's look at the data together," he says evenly. The room does not shift against him this time. Colleagues interpret the pause as confidence. They mistake regulation for authority. But perception is irrelevant. The internal system is what matters. He is no longer reacting before choosing. And you underestimate how powerful a pause can be. Small neurological shifts compound. Habit loops weaken. Identity strengthens around repetition. What was once forced now feels deliberate. He is not suppressing fear. He is observing it without obedience. At home, his wife notices first. "You seem quieter," she says one evening. "Maybe," he replies. But it is not withdrawal. It is reduction of unnecessary speech. He listens fully when she speaks. He does not interrupt, but he does not defend reflexively. Silence becomes presence instead of absence. His daughter tests him one night, spilling juice across the table accidentally. The old version of Kenji would have reacted sharply from accumulated stress. This time he wipes it calmly. "It's okay," he says. The child studies him, surprised. Calm under minor pressure builds trust. Trust builds respect. Respect builds influence. But there is a new risk emerging. External response is shifting. People interrupt him less. His supervisor assigns him more responsibility. Compliments appear subtly. "You handled that well. You've been solid lately." Recognition is a seduction. The brain, wired for status, begins to interpret composure as superiority. Ego senses opportunity. "You have changed. You are better now." This is the next negotiation, not with fear, but with pride. Seijaku has stabilized his reaction to stress. Now it must confront something more dangerous, the intoxication of early power. Months pass, and the routine is no longer fragile. Morning silence, cold exposure, structured focus, deliberate speech. These are not experiments anymore. They are architecture. Kenji's supervisor calls him into a private office one afternoon. "You've been steady," the supervisor says. "We need more of that. There may be advancement soon." The word lands softly but carries weight. Advancement. You would think discipline eliminates ego. It does not. It refines it. On the train ride home, Kenji allows himself a rare smile. He replays the compliment. He imagines the promotion. He imagines colleagues seeing him differently. A quiet comparison begins forming in his mind. I am more controlled than them. More stable? More composed? This is the new temptation. When fear weakens, pride emerges. He notices subtle shifts in behavior. He speaks slightly slower, slightly firmer. He corrects others more quickly. He begins anticipating praise instead of ignoring it. The mind, so once desperate for comfort, now hungers for validation through superiority. Seijaku without humility becomes arrogance. Nakamura-sensei sees it immediately. "You are speaking from height," the master says one morning during practice. Kenji frowns. "Height? You believe you are above your old self," the master replies. "Soon you will believe you are above others." Kenji remains silent. The master introduces another law of the ancient Japanese system. Shoshin, beginner's mind. And to approach each moment without the arrogance of mastery, to remain empty even when progress appears visible. "If you think you've arrived," Nakamura-sensei says, dipping his brush into ink, "you begin decaying." The brush moves across paper in one fluid stroke. No hesitation. No self-congratulation. Kenji feels the warning settle heavily. Power must be held without attachment. Authority without ego. Control without display. The praise at work intensifies slightly. He is asked to oversee a small project. Colleagues seek his input more often. He senses influence expanding. And yet, internally, something becomes unstable again. Not fear, not panic, but the subtle inflation of identity. You can collapse from weakness. You can also collapse from pride. Shoshin demands that he return mentally to day one, to remember the humiliation, to remember the blank slide, to remember that calm was trained, not gifted. He bows slightly deeper during morning practice, but he reduces his speech even further, because he senses something approaching, a test that will not care about his recent praise or measured breathing. And this time, the pressure will not be simulated. The crisis arrives without warning. A major logistics contract collapses after a supplier error. Deadlines are missed. Financial projections are threatened. Rumors of layoffs circulate through the office by noon. The atmosphere tightens. Voices lower. Movement becomes abrupt. Kenji is called into an emergency meeting. His supervisor looks older than usual. "You'll lead the recovery discussion," he says. "We need clarity. There is no rehearsal, no preparation time, no safe slides. This is not controlled discomfort. This is exposure." As Kenji walks into the conference room, he feels it, the surge of adrenaline, the familiar acceleration of pulse. Fear is present, strong, direct, but something is different. He does not attempt to suppress it. He does not attempt to eliminate it. He recognizes it. Seijaku does not remove pressure, it removes reaction. He stands at the front of the room, faces tense, colleagues anxious, the same fluorescent lights, the same projector hum, the same space where he once froze. You would expect the old memory to hijack him. Instead, he inhales slowly. 1 breath, 2. He allows the silence to stretch before speaking. "We will address this step by step," he says evenly. No rush, no apology, no performance, or the room steadies slightly. Harvard research on emotional contagion suggests that regulated leaders regulate groups. Nervous systems mirror each other. Panic spreads quickly. So does composure. Kenji outlines the facts. He assigns responsibilities calmly. When challenged sharply by a colleague, he listens fully before responding. He does not defend ego. He responds to data. Minutes pass. The energy in the room shifts from fear to focus. He is not acting calm. He is calm, not because fear disappeared, because fear is no longer directing behavior. This is pressure without preparation, and he does not fracture. The meeting ends with a plan, not perfect, but clear. Afterward, his supervisor approaches quietly. "That was strong," he says. Kenji nods once. No internal celebration, no inflated pride, just acknowledgement. As he walks back to his desk, something irreversible settles inside him. He did not negotiate with fear. He did not rely on conditions, on the system held. You think transformation feels dramatic. It does not. It feels stable. But stability under pressure creates a new burden, responsibility. And responsibility requires confronting the final layer of identity. Day 66, day 75, day 90. Time no longer feels like an obstacle. It feels like proof. The rituals continue without spectacle. Morning silence, cold water, deliberate speech, deep work, scheduled discomfort. They are not heroic acts anymore. They are maintenance of command. The old version of Kenji has not vanished. It has weakened. He still feels impulses to delay, to seek validation, to soften truth for comfort. But the impulses do not own him. They appear, they are observed, they dissolve. This is integration, not destruction. You cannot kill a former identity completely. You absorb it. You reassign it. The fear that once dictated behavior becomes information. The shame that once paralyzed becomes memory. One afternoon, Kenji walks into the same conference room where he froze months earlier. The chairs are arranged differently. The projector hums as usual, but the emotional charge is gone. He stands in the center of the room, alone. He remembers the blank slide, the silence, the smirks. There is no resentment. There is no urge to rewrite the past. Only recognition. Seijaku was never about silence for its own sake. It was about sovereignty, and the Japanese principle trained him to stand inside discomfort without collapsing, not to escape humiliation, but to metabolize it. Sovereignty demands responsibility. He realizes something uncomfortable. Calm is influence. Influence shapes outcomes. Outcomes affect people. His steadiness now impacts colleagues, family, decisions. With control comes weight. At home, his daughter runs toward him again with a drawing. This time, he kneels fully. He listens to every detail she explains. He is not distracted. Not because he forces focus, because his mind is no longer fragmented. His wife studies him quietly over dinner. "You're different," she says. He nods once. "I know." The old identity is not buried violently. It is laid down deliberately, not rejected, integrated. You imagine transformation as explosion. It is not. It is burial. The former self, reactive, negotiating, shrinking, is acknowledged and released. Kenji does not feel invincible. He feels accountable. And accountability is heavier than confidence. Because the next chapter is not about surviving pressure. It is about sustaining authority over time. 1 year passes. No announcement marks the anniversary. No ceremony acknowledges the discipline. Time measures transformation silently. Kenji's life is not louder, it is sharper. His mornings begin before the city stirs. The ritual remains unchanged. Silence, breath, observation. Not because he fears relapse, but because structure sustains sovereignty. Seijaku is no longer an effort. It is architecture. At work, he has been promoted. The title matters less than the posture. He enters rooms without hurry. He listens before speaking. When conflict rises, he does not react immediately. He allows tension to exist. Then he directs it. Colleagues describe him as steady, reliable, grounded. They do not see the mornings. They do not see the day 14 relapse, the humiliation, and the internal negotiations that once defined him. Authority now flows quietly from repetition. One evening, during a storm, the lights flicker in his apartment. Thunder shakes the windows. His daughter grips his arm tightly. "Are you scared?" she asks. He looks at her calmly. "No," he says. "We're okay." She studies his face, then relaxes. "You're calm even when things are scary," she whispers. That sentence carries more weight than any promotion. The Japanese secret was never mystical. It was structured confrontation with internal chaos until chaos obeyed. Not suppression, not performance, training. He is not fearless. Fear still appears, but fear does not command. You misunderstand strength if you think it is loud. True strength is regulated. It does not flare unnecessarily. It does not seek applause. It endures. Kenji understands now that Seijaku is not an achievement. It is maintenance, a continuous return, an ancient Japanese system that must be practiced or it dissolves. He does not claim mastery. He maintains structure. The erosion that once defined his life has reversed direction. Not because circumstances changed, because negotiation ended. And the system remains available to anyone willing to dismantle who they were. If you are ready to train instead of merely feel inspired, subscribe now and turn on the bell for future sessions. This is not entertainment. It is reconstruction. Then write one action in the comments, a single behavior you will execute tomorrow without negotiation. Not 10 goals, not vague intentions, one concrete act. Wake at a specific time. Initiate one difficult conversation. Remove one distraction. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. Choose deliberately. Make it public. When you declare action openly, you create pressure. Pressure reveals commitment. Commitment reshapes identity. Do not wait for confidence. Choose structure. Subscribe. Enable notifications. Then write your smallest next step below. Make it visible. Make it irreversible.